All right. Yes, yes, yes. We are back for another open court discussion. I am your host, David Lorenzo Glover, aka the Controversial Counselor. Joining me as my co-host, the Big Bad Wolf, Herb Lewis.
Oh,
All right. On tonight, Monday, July 14th, we will be discussing the topic love, laughter, and legacy. Welcome to our discussion on family reunions. Tonight, we'll explore the joys, the challenges, and benefits of reconnecting with loved ones. From cherished memories to complex family dynamics, we'll dive into the highs and lows of family gatherings, planning and organization, managing family conflicts, creating and maintaining meaningful traditions, and balancing family time and personal space. This conversation could bring folks together, or it could drive a wedge, or it could deepen a wedge with dysfunctional families. Well, every families have a little dysfunction in it. Despite it all, it's a topic worth exploring. Please like and share our video, and don't forget to tell a family member to tell another family member to please subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Controversial Counselor. We are sitting on 957 subs, 43 away from the long awaited goal of 1K. Stay with us. It's going to happen. Definitely going to happen. So good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Counselor's Corner to another great episode of Love, Love, Laughter, and Legacy. But before we get into that, which some of this stuff is going to have parallels to the show. A couple things I want to address. Couple. Well, I'll let you go, Herb. Do you got any housekeeping information you want to share? Can you hear me?
yes, I can. I was just I got this one new today. All right. Eh, where am I at? Sorry. Okay. Housekeeping. Okay. All right. I'm sorry about the people. Weight issue. I am down to 288 pounds, marching forward, and the new job is going well. So I have nothing but good news to report, people. That is it from the Wolfstead.
All right. Just about to turn this volume off on this phone. All right. So, like I said, I have a couple things. A couple things. See where I'm gonna start. So I'm gonna start off with people. Be mindful. We live in a world now where we got a lot of scumbags and people that like to scam and play on people intelligence, and they're getting real creative with it. And so throughout my time as an author, every well now it's becoming more than not. You have like random call uh, about my book because it's self-published, and I guess the gist of it all is that they like to go after self-publishers because they know that they're kind of small, low level, and they want to kind of sell them a dream. And so most of the time they'll call, oh, we came across your book, so I'm kind of pessimistic and kind of sitting there with my kind of lips. But we're on the phone, kind of tooted up and giving them that like side eye, like, and they, they go on and go on. Then eventually they'll say, well, they'll talk about a fee. And that's when they kind of lose. Look, you called me, I'm minding my business, whatever. I'm not paying nothing. And sometimes I'll just hang up, terminate the call. That's it. But recently I had one. Now, this is when I say they're getting more creative because he actually, said he was a literary agent. So anybody who knows, if you want to publish through the big five publishing companies, Macmillan, Penguin, Simon and Schuster, I forgot a couple other ones. More than likely, you need a literary agent that's going to kind of represent you, sell your picture book to those publishers. And I know if you got an agent or something, you're really not going to pay anything. They're going to take care of it. They want you. So he called and, I told him, I kind of listened to what he was saying. But the one thing that gave me a red flag, I don't think he was black, and maybe that's just my ignorance of saying that. But he said his name was DeAndre. Now I'm like, yo, you you're not black. And your name is DeAndre. So that's some old Deborah and Andre combined DeAndre. Some made up shit we do. it, so his name was DeAndre Talib. I said, okay. So I went on, I heard, his pitch. But when I mentioned about fraudulent and scams, he said, oh no, that's why this phone call is recorded. He said, so anything I say that you could kind of come back and, my ass would be in trouble. I said, okay. So he never mentioned money. So he kept going, kept going along, making it seem like he was busy, wanted me to submit some stuff, and then he would disappear for a couple days, and then he'll call me back and act like he was so busy, had all these meetings and deadlines. So I reached out. I said, well, I'm gonna reach out since I pay for this. I'm gonna reach out to Legal Shield and get some, uh, consultant consultation from them. So I sent well, originally it was just an email. So they was like, they kind of needed more information. They was like, if you could get a contract or something written, then definitely we'd go from there. So we got to the point where I guess they came up with some like that he said I needed an independent publisher registration, which cost 3,500, and they'll give you a website, all the stuff that was promised before with the vanity publisher had. So I'm sitting there, I ain't about to pay 3,500. So I'm just listening to him. And then he like, well, I talked to him. You can, the first payment has to be at least 1,200. So I'm like, oh, I've been waiting for this, to ask about some money. But the thing about it is they got it together that they got other people involved. So it's like letterhead, stuff is on letterhead. He went into if that your book was the top four book as far as relevancy, grammatical stuff. That out of 50 something books, your book was, and the finalists are 12 books, and your book is rated number 4. Okay, so I'm still just listening to it, still cautious. And, he ended up, what else? So I ended up sharing that with Legal Shield, and then that's when he started, talking about the 3,500. So I said, well, I said, talking to my lawyer, they said that from what they know, that you don't have to. If a big time publisher wants you, they take care of all the fees and all of that stuff, marketing and all that. So they never really heard of this independent. And then when you Google it, nothing really popped up. So it's some made up shit that they came up, but they had it all outlined and all this stuff, like all the services you could get. He even had me speak to someone, probably was a sister or cousin from their legal team. So I'm like they really going on with this. And this went on for like a month or so. So this is what they're doing like now. So, but the legal team, the woman I spoke to, she kept like when I was asking her questions, I said, well, why neither one of like his agency for the literary agents? I said, why isn't anything coming up on the Better Business Bureau? And she's like,
Yeah.
well, sometimes, we're a private thing, so we don't have to list it. And I do know that some businesses will not be listed on there, but I just wanted to see what she would say. And she struggled with that answer. So I was like, okay. But then, when I talked to him, I said he had sent me the something she's supposed to have put together, the independent registration publishing service contract, the one for 3,500. So he sent it to me. I forwarded it to Legal Shield. They read it. She got back to me in a couple of days. She said, I think this is it's a fraud. And she was like, and I did some research and I came across the blog that, and they had a list of names and stuff that people that portray themselves as agents and then companies that, portray themselves that they're not. And guess whose name popped up? His, their name popped up. I should even know. I should know this shit by heart. But that's how much I wasn't like, yeah, whatever. Something Solutions. I hate when you tell the story with all the details. Hold on. It'll come back. Should have that out. Never mind. I'll get it. I'll bring it up. I'll bring it up shortly. So it was something Lit Solutions. I'm drawing a blank. So that came up. So of course I emailed him and said, well, actually I did something. I signed the contract, but I signed another name. I was being ignorant. I ain't gonna say what I said. But anyways, he responded back and he was like, "Oh, it's interesting that over 300 agencies are on here, and it's through the internet. Like, so you don't think that that's kind of fishy? And the person who did it, she's not like a government. It's not like a government regulation. It's a person who gave their opinion because that's what things are from the internet, opinion."
Yeah.
And he was like, and she also is trying to drive home and want people to, come to her if they got any questions. But he was like, but kind of like, okay, but he never, because I made a comment about his name at the bottom of the little contract there, because now I'm being petty. Sometimes you got to be petty because you wasted my damn time. And man, you had conversations. It's like we talked before, like on the phone for like about an hour. So
Yeah.
he was trying to rope me in, but I'm always cautious. So then he never so after that, see, he never said anything after I told him, I sent him the link to the blog and about what my lawyer feedback was. He never came back and said, listen, David, this is legit, or he kind of left it at that. So that let me know, like, yeah, got your ass on to the next victim. But the reason why I shared that is because you got to be mindful that there's people out here doing it, and they're coming with plans. So if you don't know, and if you're not cautious, you could have easily forked over that 3,500. And like the Legal Shield lawyer said, she said, I like dealing with the situations like you now, doing the research. She said, oftentimes I'm dealing with people who already paid, and it's hard to recover that money. She said, so this is much simpler to just do up research and kind of find out what we can get on these people. So it's just like I said, and that's the world that we live in, that people will prey on you as far as dreams or visions and stuff like that. So, and it doesn't necessarily have to be dealing with being an author. It could be anything, like when you have these people calling you out of nowhere. But they had a team and they had a game plan and they had a strategy, but they wasn't about to high five on me on my 3,500. Like, we got another sucker. So that's just that. I know I took a lot of time with that, but it was important for me because, again, there's people out there getting had every day. and that's what keep these people going. And they're, like I said, they're getting more clever and more unique, and they're putting a team together to kind of cover all bases. And that's how he kind of did it with me. He had a little team. He prolonged the phone calls. He'd never mention money to like 3 weeks, 4 weeks into it, and then that's when he dropped the 3,500, which also was funny because then I seen something on YouTube regarding somebody. I think she does editorial work, maybe published some books, and she was talking about the process of getting picked up by what is it, Big Five publisher company. So, and she, this was like the video was 4 years ago, but I had replied to it, and then this guy replied to my answer because I asked about the independent public registration, and he was like, "Listen, I wrote 10 books that's published by big companies." He is like, "Never heard of anything like that. Never heard of it." He is like, and I just finished, just got another book published. He's like, so, pretty much that was some made up, trying to use the right terminology to cross me over, but even when you Google it, nothing came up. So, oh, that damn DeAndre with the name. Yeah, he from that point forward, I was my antennas went up like, yeah, wait a minute, dude, you sound white or Indian. Your name ain't DeAndre. Can't be. So, anyways, that's that. All right. Now, what's the second thing? Oh, I want to send a shout out to, well, not so much a shout out, condolences to one of my longtime friends. Actually, her mother and my mother is like best friends. Erica Green, people know her as Suge. She lost her son last night in a car accident. Uh, and she was like growing up, they were like sister stuff because like I said, my mother and her mother Ruby, hung together since they were kids. So we would always be around each other. And shout out, my condolences goes out to you, Suge, your husband Robert, Ruby, husband Ray, and it's tough, man. It's just, I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine how you feel. I mean, he was 30 years, maybe over 30, 31, 32, but I think her only child, and maybe coming home from work, got into an accident and over it just like that, man. It's so crazy and heartbreaking that you just never know. You just never know. And I think that's the importance of, the subject tonight. So again, my heart is with y'all. Love you all, and wish y'all well, and keep, maintain peace, that strength, and love to try to get through it. It's going to be a process.
Yeah,
Finally,
it's.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you
No, I
can.
was day before yesterday. I was out back doing something, and my neighbor calls me, and my backyard is a complete mess. And she was asking, if I need anybody to tend to the lawn because she has a nephew to do well small fee. I said, no. I said what I really want to do is level my lawn out. I said, but that would entail killing the grass because once you roll the grass, you start to kill it. So we had got into a conversation about um I can't recall. Other than that, we had started talking about something else, and I had inquired about her mother, and she had told me that her mother had passed over the winter. Now, her mother and I were cool. Her mother. I'm not gonna say was. Her mother's funny. Her mother's real funny. She used to sit out in out in front in the little Jeep playing Motown and always cracking jokes. I'm gonna get you one day. I'm gonna get you. You out here with no shirt on. You trying to tempt me? So it was always, it was always. She had something nice to say. It was always funny, and she would be truly missed. To the Houston family, I know I am late. My sincerest and humblest condolences. Uh, I know it's been some time, but that never really heals, man. Losing your mother, that's just one of those things that when it happens, and you move on as best you possibly can. So to Gene Houston, I'll dedicate this show to you. Uh, I'm gonna miss your music playing and you sitting out there in your little couch just enjoying life. But just like David said, man, this has so many branches. Not to use a double entendre, but it does. I mean, and I just found this out. Black family unions are the reason why reunions in other families have started. Now, that's something that I on a history a test or a Jeopardy question, I never got that right. So that's something we definitely have contributed to the American fabric. And there's a reason why. When we come from the origins that we do, it was important to know who our people are, lineage, heritage, going forward. Now, like David said, a lot of that's compromised by people not really getting together anymore. The top two reasons why most families get together: weddings, funerals. Even on holidays, we don't get together that often. Christmas, Thanksgiving, 4th of July. We talk about Sunday dinners. Nobody has a Sunday dinner anymore. Nobody going over to Big Mama house because Big Mama gonna throw down. She gonna get you your collard greens, your hog maws, your cornbread, your macaroni. She's gonna have a spread. Everybody coming by there, grab a plate, and just sit down and talk. Don't exist anymore. Now, you can say for a lot of different reasons, don't nobody want to stand over the hot stove, cooking all that food for a bunch of ungrateful people. But it's like, well, wait a minute. Big Mama cooked because that's what Big Mama did. And Big Mama didn't care if he was ungrateful. She didn't care if he was a criminal or whatever the case was. She always say, my door is open, come by and get a plate. And don't forget to say hi. We lost that. That no longer exists anymore. Sunday dinner, period. Never mind a Sunday dinner. Big Mama ain't cooking, maybe because Big Mama's not around in our families anymore. So the women don't cook like Big Mama used to. Nobody's taught the kids how to cook. So who now is going to carry on the torch? So 2 generations from now, we know who Big Mama was. We know who Granddad was. We know why this house is here. We know why this exists and that exists. It is falling apart before our very eyes. And Gen X, we at the crosshairs. We really are. Whether we had kids or not, like myself. I was just talking to Dave earlier. My family reunion just passed this weekend in Myrtle Beach. Behind me, you see 3 T-shirts, all from respective family unions over the last 20 years. And I give that acknowledgement, to my aunt who's deceased. She's been deceased now for about 7. No, wait a minute. Bruce Todd, my nephew Bruce. So she's been deceased for a better part of 10 years, I want to say. I didn't get a chance to go to her funeral because at the particular time, finances were tight. So I let my mother go. I figured it was more important that she be there for her sister as opposed to me as my aunt. But that's her only living sibling. So I said my mother instead. And they got back and they talked about everything because everybody else had spent time there over the summer except me. And it was just an irony how that all worked out. So now every now and then we go down there, we hang out. We had a family reunion, like I said, down there. And I got to meet everybody. Some people don't travel well. So you get to meet all those people there. You get to see everything. And you get to experience different culture. Especially for us people who are just born and bred Northerners. We go down south. We actually get to hear that Southern drawl. We get to see that Southern hospitality. We get to see how they move. We get to see, yes, the clubs with the dirt floors, the whole 9 yards. Is a different way of living down there. If you don't have family down there, you'll never experience it. But if you do, go down there and hang out, man. Go enjoy life and go experience all that you can in regards to that Southern culture. It's different. You might not like it, but you'll say, you know what? Now I know why they act like they do. But we we need to seriously, and I mean seriously, start looking at, for those of you who don't have family reunions, start looking at a way you can start to um, assemble one. Because I'll tell you what, for all the bad things that you might have going on in your family, that family reunion can start the healing process. And if you want to get together and you want to get closer, that's the only way you're gonna do is to sit down and resolve these issues. Just like the young lady we had on last week, she talked about it, and I made her back you up or back her up. Is hey, look, women, it starts with you, not necessarily because you're the head of the family, but you give birth, so the lineage comes directly through you. Who's gonna father the child? Whether you're gonna have a husband, you are literally the root of family reunions. Every generation from you starts there. And heavy is the head that they say heavy is the head that wears the crown. I'm gonna double down on that. The neck got to be strong to hold the tiara of the queen. Ladies, balls in your court. And if y'all like these family reunions, you want your family to remain intact, you got to start looking at some things and start making some decisions in regards to who you dealing with, why you dealing with them, and if they ain't no good, you cut them off quick. Cut them off quick because you start mating with the wrong cats, causing dysfunction, dissension, disharmony. Your family will be destroyed before it can start.
Now, I'm going to jump back onto that. A couple things when I can't. It bothers me when I can't remember some. So I did look it up. It's called Equinox Lit Solutions. That's the name of the fake literary agents. Equinox Lit Solutions. So that name was on the list. Then also I wanted to speak on. It was a video that circulated through Niagara Falls, and it got, last I checked, it was over 100 some thousand views. And it was a situation where, I mean, everybody knows the video is going around. I'm just call out names. What they gonna do? So Jeffrey Alexander Rivers, our brother, uh, ended up taking, and I don't even know where the bar at. I don't know. I mean, Trent Hamilton, Trent, one of that community activist, in Niagara Falls, maybe the president of School of Entrepreneur. So he takes Jeff under his wings and kind of supports him and a true brother to him. But in the video, you could see they were at a bar, and Trent was kind of laid back talking, and with some other guy, don't know who he was, but Jeff was in there, and what he had going on, had on like a dashiki, but he was like barefooted, and I'm like, oh, what is going on? But Jeff reached over Trent, and I guess there was some money there. Grabbed the money, kind of put it behind his back, and then put it in his pocket. And it stole from the man. So Trent
Mm.
obviously was hurt and said, "Wow, Jeff, Jeff, you really did it this time. Uh, you took $250 from me. You know, you know, he kind of dealt when when Jeff gets lit. You know, you was cutting a fool, but bad enough. You was cutting a fool, but bad enough. Now you stealing money from me, like kind of like that's the last straw. Like man, like who needs enemies if you have friends like that? And which, of course, people went in. People went in. They ready to castrate Jeff. Um, my brother Carlos came in and had to come from a perspective because Jeff, was a Muslim brother, still a brother, and we know Jeff when Jeff was on top of his game. Jeff was he was that dude. He was all right. He made a name for himself when they first arrived in Niagara Falls. Him and his sister. But what people don't realize and may not think about, he lost his sister. Uh, she died in a fire, and they were close. And so the trauma that he's probably been going through, he's never been the same since then. So, he's still intelligent and he has his moments that that he's with it. But then, if he gets tangled, indulge in alcohol and stuff like that, you know how that operates. The mental illnesses, then with alcohol and stuff like that, it leads to bad decisions where you don't really think. A lot of stuff is on impulse. So Carlos was coming from that stance that like, yo, that brother is going through a lot of things. Granted, he's dead wrong. He's dead wrong. Treated him like a good brother and held him down. It's like, but you got to look at the condition that Jeff is in, and instead of saying, we should cut him off, we need to help him out. But all too often, people get ready to jump on the bandwagon to castrate somebody without looking at all the symptoms or say to themselves, damn, he didn't used to be like that. If somebody's not the way that they used to be, ding dong, there's an issue going on. There's something going on.
Yeah.
And granted, during those days he was younger. When we're younger, we become different adults through life pressures, stressors, and things like that. So, it's kind of was disturbing. I don't like stuff like that, and certainly, I'm sure Trent's going to bounce back. I mean, not even bounce back. I'm sure that it was just more disappointment and hurt that somebody you treated like a brother and had his back, and they do something like that. It doesn't even matter if it was just $5. But I think the other people in the comments, yeah, just like relish that type of stuff. And you do got to understand that it's different because people are like, oh, he knew what he was doing and all that stuff. Man, oh yeah, he knows right from wrong. But when you're going through stuff, whatever, depression and all of that stuff, and you got chemical imbalances and you include alcohol and stuff in there, you're not going to make the right choices.
Yep.
You're going to have some erratic behavior, and you don't tend to think about it during that time. Maybe after you recuperate and recover, then you're like, damn, I fucked up. But sooner or later, if you keep doing that, people are going to cut you off and alienate you from them. But I just didn't like to see how everybody went into attack mode on one individual. Trent said what he said in the caption, but he never commented throughout. But some of y'all was just like, "Oh, that shit!" Like y'all didn't never known anybody to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Like y'all don't have people in your family that you kind of cover down for, and you want the best for them. Because again, in his heyday, he, he held it down, and he still had flashes of that at times. But when you mix alcohol and depression together, never gonna be good. It's never gonna be good. And people say, well, how could you diagnose him as depression? You just tell. You can tell. I mean, extra indulging in alcohol. Again, the erratic behavior. Then sometimes you might have moments of sadness, and I guess for him to keep going is probably to be around and all that to stop him from dealing with his issues and the trauma that he's faced with. So I just wanted to come on and say that I didn't comment on the thread or anything, but I just think like, sometimes it's unfortunate. Like Jeff is burning bridges. Trent was like a family to him. It sometimes we have to look at people conditions and kind of give them some grace, but yet and still, you need to be taught a lesson. No, dude, you ain't gonna come around here. Don't you're not allowed at this. You're gonna read them some rights and regulations. Like this is what we're gonna do. I'm not. I don't trust you.
Mm,
You're not to be left alone here. You got to
yeah.
rebuild that. You got to show me. If he can't abide by it, what you talking about? With I'm a grown ass man. No, you're not acting like a grown ass man by stealing and taking from your people. If you can't deal with those conditions, then you, you just lost a good brother. And that's just with anything. Yeah, even with your children and things like that, family members. Sometimes you gotta you have trust that you lose it, you gotta regain it back, and your stipulations to gain it back. That's up to you. That sets out and shows if you're a responsible man or a woman. If you want to change, if you can adhere to those conditions, and I'm sure they wouldn't be degrading or anything, but just like yo, you can't be alone. Like here, I'm not giving you anything like that unless it's food or something. If you're hungry, yeah. But anything else, no, I don't got $5. I ain't got 10. You get nothing from me. And shit, if you want to, they can work that shit off. Do whatever.
Yeah, yeah. There's always that. I want to point out two things. One, the T-shirt that David is wearing. Now, I didn't know he was gonna wear that one, so I'm gonna see that one in the East Side reunion at Cannonball Park. These are
Yeah.
families that we belong to. These are families when as a situation occurred, they go correct you. And some of us we need that because some of us are out here doing some things that they're questionable at best, dubious at worst. So this is the question I'm going to ask people: how many families do you have? Literally, how many families do you have? Some of us have a professional family. Some of us have a blood family. Some of us have an extended family. Me myself, I have several. I had a family with the Lions Club. They were all my brothers and sisters in volunteerism, is what they refer to it as. So if something would have happened, they check in on us. Nobody's at the meeting. They're not at the meeting. Anybody know what happened to such and such? So family reunions come in a lot of different ways. You have um, happy hour with your coworkers. That's a form of family because you're bonding over something that has nothing to do with work. And some people say, "Well, I don't have time." Make time because if those people gonna stop by the hospital and see that you okay, or stop by your home to see if your wife or your husband or your kids need anything, that's your family. Don't write them off because you don't think so. You got friends that'll check on you when you ain't came by, or they're gonna pick up the phone and call. That's your family. So many of us are quick to say, "Well, you know what? I don't trust my family. They all snakes. They all steal from me." And you know that may be true. So start another family. That's the power that you have. Get your friends there. Thanksgiving now, what do they call it? Friendsgiving? Because some people don't have friends. Some people don't have that kind of family. So they get together with other people. Say, "Hey, y'all my family." It's tough out here. And being alone, especially during the holidays, because at the holidays is when self deletions really rise. So find your tribe, get with them, let them know, "Hey, look, y'all my family." And if they start to chuckle, say, "No, hey, look, I'm serious. My blood relatives, I can't trust them. They steal from me. They rob me blind. They do this, they do that." Let them know, "Hey, look, y'all my brothers, y'all my sisters. My mother, my father, they're deceased. It's the only two people I trusted. So y'all my surrogate family." And don't believe that there's anything wrong with that. I'm blessed. I'm blessed beyond measure. The foster homes that I've been in, they've ingratiated me into their family. So I have multiple families. I mean, literally, I I don't know what it's like not to belong to something somewhere with somebody. But I realize I'm fortunate. Not everybody has that good fortune. So sometimes you got to create that. create that fortune. Houdini, I'll say that for the end. But the song by Sly and the Family Stone, "We Are Family." Who you gonna sing that song with? It's a great song, but it rings hollow if you don't have anybody to sing it with. It's like the old adage: a musician takes a stage. They need three things: somebody to play with, something to play, and someone to play for.
And to go along with that theme, I know for me, yeah, I have massive family, coworkers, people I work with over the years, and I'm kind of, I could I'll keep to myself a lot of times, but I know if I had to reach out, well, I reached out to somebody, if I like, oh shit, like, uh, it may be that might throw them for a loop, but I think one of the things is, growing up, we used to attend the family reunions, and a lot of times they would be in Alabama, and I used to go to Alabama for a while, like every summer. Then I think after a certain
Mhm.
while, when I got older, I was like, yo, this, I can't do it no more. I was like, there's only so much I can do out on this route. Chase roosters, watch the feathers blow in the wind, and throw rocks. And it really wasn't no kids around. Then it was like my grandfather and his siblings, and like my other cousin. They were like a few years older than me. And then we would have it would be like a dinner dance, stuff like that, and there'd be other kids around. But I think for a while it would be just me going. I would be just the one going, and my siblings didn't go. So I was like, oh, this. Then I think once I hit like 9 or 10, and they're like, oh, we going down south. You going? "Nah, I'm good. I'm good." And then I also think I got into sports. So I don't know, maybe during that time, football practice and stuff had started. So I got out of it in those regards. But then as we became teenagers, my mother and my aunts and stuff, they still went. And my sister would have to go. Dietrich would go. And then me and Carlos, we wouldn't go. And that we used to look forward to that. We would start asking, like, oh, when y'all going down south? Because we knew that was an opportunity. My one aunt was supposed to be keeping us, but we stayed. She stayed on North Avenue with my grandparents, but then we had moved to Unity Park. So we would go on North Avenue and eat. She would make us food, but we had also money that we would get pizza and stuff. So some days we wouldn't even go over. She might not see us in 2 days if they was going for like
Oh
five,
damn!
6 for a week. And we would just be a big party, big party in Unity Park. So we would look forward to that. But then I know now, like our side, we need to go back down there. Our children need to go there and
Yep.
see this is where it all started from. In fact, my mother, they're planning on going um, in August. She asked me if I wanted to go, but it's just I'm not really prepared to uh, go like that. I didn't plan on it, so I don't like doing the last minute thing. Going somewhere like I could do a last minute thing and go to Niagara Falls, but to go to Alabama, that's a little hike. So I would like to plan and be on point. And so she probably said, "Oh, he gonna talk about it on this show," but I texted him that he ain't never say anything. Nah, I never got back with an answer, but you probably knew the answer. uh, but I do know that it's a necessity to go back there, probably because some of our younger cousins our age, they're all going to be there. And remember, I talked about this before. When my uncle passed, we went to Milwaukee and we can reconnected with some of our cousins that are our age. So they've been coming to Niagara Falls for my sister's birthday, which is also like a family reunion, and that's the way she does
Mhm.
it. Like puts it together. None of us, we don't. We just go about it. It's our birthday. We keep it quiet. Uh, she, she gonna do it a whole month, but she tries to do it like 2 3 days, and people come from all over there because they know it's gonna be a big. It's gonna be a big party. It's gonna be a celebration, and my cousins from Milwaukee, and many of them are in Milwaukee, but they all kind of spread it out and moved to different places, North Carolina, Texas, and they come to Niagara Falls. I know that we have to, as our immediate family, we're going to have to return that favor and all go back, go their way, so it won't be lopsided. Now, I can't say it's lopsided because my sister and my cousin D, they they go places, they travel, so they've connected with them. I haven't personally. I don't think Carlos has. So I think we just have to do a better job in connecting. And I always said during prior to pre-COVID, like it would be events that I would miss. I would just say, "Nah, I'm not. I'm not going," because sometimes it would require me to go like back-to-back weekends to maybe come to Niagara Falls. But then after COVID, during COVID, I said, "Man, I'm gonna try to attend as many things as I can because life is
Yeah.
short."
Mhm.
And, and if a bunch of people are coming together, then I need to make an effort to do so. So um, I have been doing that since, but now I need to elevate the game, and that's part of the reason too why I keep saying that I need to transition into something else besides the schoolhouse. I'm to that point that I can't be relegated to this is the time you're off. You have this time off. You have to get
Yeah.
approved for this. Um, Past it. Had I stayed in New York, I would have been probably retired. I would have had my
Man.
30 years in. But, and that's the one thing, when you think about relocating people, you might have to consider years. Do the years make travel as far as the salary? Um, and you might be put on the pay scale for that, but it doesn't count towards the retirement in that state. And I'm not saying all states, but I know my New York stuff didn't transfer to Maryland. How I know this because I just talked to somebody recently because that's how serious I am about this, and they were like, "Well, you would have to either you would have to be 62 or you would have to do 10 more years to get your full benefit." I'm like, "Say what? Say what?" I got like 30 more years. Say what? And then she's like, "Well, you would have to buy time." And she said that could be expensive. I'm like, "This is bullshit right here." Because and I'm gonna say it. I love the kids and all that. I don't see myself as being a 60-some-year-old counselor. I'm still relevant, and that's important to be relevant to leave out on top. I don't want to leave out and be that. Now I'm Unc and OG. And once in a while, you have a couple of schools say, "What's up, old man?" But those is like my little soldiers. "What's up, old man?" And be talking. But I don't want to be viewed by the whole student body as that old man. People may say, "Well,
Stayed in the
why do
league
you
too
care?"
long.
Yeah, why do you care? Because in schools, it's about respect. If they respect you and they see you a certain way, your relationships is better. You have less stress. If they see that it's a weakness, if I'm walking and I'm all hunchback and crippled and on a walker, a cane and shit, they gonna look at me like. And granted, most of the kids probably that I started out with, because a lot of them they may have siblings that I knew, they may be far removed, and they be like, "Man, that old ass man always talking." I don't want to be diminished to that role. So that's important to me. I gotta figure out. I gotta find a way.
JBT.
What you say?
Yeah, and people, this is this is the other thing with family. Families can start businesses. Families can step in and fulfill a role. So let's take the situation that David's in. He say, hey, look, I don't want to do this, but you know what? I can go slide in under my family's umbrella. I can do this and get paid for this, collect my time for this, and when it's done, I can go back around and file for this. I'm Gucci. But because we as blacks we don't believe in marriage the way other cultures do, we can't avail ourselves of that situation. So now we at the mercy of our quote unquote demand. Everybody want to talk about the system is racist. No, the system is capitalist. Don't give a fuck about your race. Don't give a fuck about your ethnicity. It gives a fuck about can you add money to the bottom line? Can you make money? Is the bottom line. And some people, because they lack understanding of what it takes to make money, they're not making money. So they are either a drain on the system or they're added nothing, added value. They talk about added value is what you can bring to the system or to somebody else. So are you a value add to your family or you a net negative? Or you just nothing. You just existing in the cytoplasm, waiting for something to come and move you along. Nobody's saying life is easy. We're not saying that. We're saying you can make it easy by working together with people in your family. Those will be the number of people who should be at least able to work with. I'm not going to say easy to work with, but able. Because those
Yeah.
are the people you should know best.
And shout out to my brother Dietrich, who always pushed that. Like, yo, man, we got to do for ourselves, man. We need to have our own businesses, whatever, man. The hell with all of this, whatever. It's time to be free. And now, you see it more than it's nothing better than being free. It's nothing. It's nothing
Mhm.
better than being competitive with your own business or your own goals or your own things that you can establish something and say, oh, oh, it's All Star Weekend or the Final Four is here. Oh, I'm going there. I'm gonna work a little hard, and I'm gonna take off that time, and I'm gonna go there, and I'm gonna enjoy it because that's something I said I always wanted to do, and I'm gonna be up in the building because I put in that work. But when you regulated by other people's decisions, and you kind of limit it because at certain jobs you cap out after a while. You can't. You might get a cost of living increase, but sometimes that'd be like 2%. The hell, let's go do 3%. But you might have reached to the highest step you could get. I'm at that point that I don't know if I could go any higher as far as steps because I came in uh, with years from New York State, and then I just completed 20 here. So I might get 31. And if you look on the chart, 30 is where it is because most people retire after 30 years, but sometimes people can have early retirement at 25 years and all that. So it's so many things that when you're in your 50s that you have to start thinking about. And
Mhm.
again, we also have pension and life insurance and different things of that nature. Like it's real. And but the one thing you want to do is enjoy your 50s. Enjoy your 50s. Definitely enjoy your 60s. You're supposed to just be kicked back, just laughing, talking shit, getting money from different places, but you ain't putting in that work because you got money coming in here, you got your pension coming in there,
Yeah.
and I always remember one of my favorite bosses. She at Bryan and Stratton. She retired from think the Tonawanda or North Tonawanda School District, and I guess she put in her time, but then she came to work at the college setting. So she has, told me she was like, I don't. And I told y'all the story before that she had gave me access. She was like, I was like her favorite. Like, Mr. David, you don't have to wait when everybody else gets their paycheck. If you need your paycheck, you can go right here and you can get it out. I get them on Thursdays. So that was back in the days when I was in my 20s when you didn't really have an account. You would cash your checks. Not at a check cashing spot. Uh, but if you had to, you might cash it at Tops or you would cash it at the spot it's drawn out to. But she let me know that I didn't have to wait. If it was a pressing need and I needed my check that Thursday, then go ahead and do so. And then she was like, "Well, I don't even know what I get paid here." She's like, "Because it goes into my account. It goes into my account, and I don't touch it. And I use the money that she was working at the college to pay her bills.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet deal, sweet deal, and that's how some people have it. So just because you may be at the retirement stage doesn't mean that you're gonna just be on the your reclining chair, not doing anything, and eat or drink yourself to oblivion. No, you might be still working, doing something else that may be less stressful, and you're making good money, and your other money is just going straight into your account, and you don't even touch it.
Yeah, people networking is always a great thing, but it's even better when you can do it for the family. And people are probably asking, well, what kind of business can I get into that can be a family thing? Real estate, real estate, clothing, farming. Though farming can be kind of tough unless you already own some land. But real estate, everybody needs a place to live, bar none. You look at other cultures, especially when they talk about having multiple families under one roof. Hispanics do it, East Indians do it. Go buy a building, live six in that building, pay it off, use the equity to go buy another building. I've been saying this for years, and I'm going to say it again. You single mothers who are getting back 4, 5, 6 grand need to partner with some more single women. Go buy you a unit with about 6, 7 apartments and let them pay off that that purchase. This is one way where y'all can bind your children, or I'm sorry, bond your children together. So they have a family. Who knows? They grew up. One of them might get pregnant. Some might get married, but that unit is there. They grew up together. Same home, same apartment buildings. They know each other. They want to do for each other. That type of bond right there is unbreakable. They'll say, hey, look, we in a business together. We were raised together. When you think I know what you're thinking, when I move, you know how I'm moving. That is priceless. But we don't have that because we don't work together enough. Too worried about somebody else trying to get our shine. They ain't giving me credit. I hate when they do that. I don't like the way she looks at me, and I let that stuff go. Gotta let it go if you want families. Gotta let it go if you want legacies. Gotta let it go if you want happiness. Because those are surefire ways to put a tack in all of that. You're not gonna be happy. You're always comparing yourself to somebody else, especially when you don't need to. They say comparison is a thief of joy. Don't do it unless you're gonna compare yourself to yourself from yesterday. Are you better than what you were? More attractive, more knowledgeable, stronger, faster? That's the only comparison you need to make. You don't need to be comparing yourself to anybody else. And I know that's not what people want to hear because we're all in competition with somebody. And we get to an extent. But the first person you should be in competition with is yourself. Be better than what you were yesterday. Be smarter. Be stronger. Be healthier. You're saying you're overweight, you need to lose weight. Start tonight. Don't be like me. After the show, go over and get a large pizzas and wings. Don't do that. Don't do that. Ain't gonna do nothing but wait till you raise your blood pressure and all that other stuff. So don't do it because I'm stopped doing it. But truly, people, this is in our hands. Gen X, we gotta lead by example. If your family hasn't had a family reunion in a decade, hey, start putting some feelers out there and say, hey, look, we in our 50s now. I think it's time that we start getting to know who our nieces, nephews, aunts. I think it's time we start to know who all of those people are. And so what if you got to travel? That was not a bad thing. Oh, maybe you guys want to meet in a central location. Halfway, get a spot, make sure you can get good hotel rates and a park. Hey, put together a committee that was going to cook, clean, cabin. There's a million different ways, but you got to start. And too many people, they got these ideas, but they never write them down. They never follow through. And by the time all that stuff gets planned, they say the year's over. This is getting ready to get fall. Don't nobody want to hang out in the fall. It's too damn cold.
And the thing about that is sometimes that's just it's too long away. Like
mm-hmm.
I hate to say it, we be pressed for time. Like to say, oh, next year I'll be at the family reunion. That's a whole freaking year. Granted, it goes by fast. And I remember we was talking about this, and of course, it just blew smoke, and I don't know whatever happened to it. But we were talking about, and even not just family, friends, and all of us getting together, maybe quarterly. Somebody else is in somebody town. Everybody's like, oh, decide we're gonna go there, and it don't have to be uh, no elaborate thing, but just to get together and spend 2 3 days together uh, on a more consistent basis than waiting for a year to go by. Because you know how that goes. If you're waiting to the next family reunion to come, then basically you're aging as you wait for that time. And you're just getting older and older, waiting for that moment, that silver bullet to come through when you could create other times before that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what's important to be able to say. Now I could say, far as my homeboys, I canceled that shit out. They've been talking about we was gonna meet up in some isolated, I mean not isolated, but a city for the longest. So we're gonna be here. We're gonna be here. That shit ain't happening. It's been 6 7 years, and they keep bringing it up, but no, they don't do anything. Last time I offered, I said, well, hey, I think it was last year. I said, Tasha, my sister about to have her 50th. She said, y'all from here? Y'all come back on that time. Don't say that oh man, my money ain't right. You ain't got to worry about eating. It's gonna be plenty of food. You ain't got to worry about drinks. It's gonna be plenty of drinks. You ain't got to worry about nowhere to stay because you got family here. What's your excuse other than gas or whatever the case is? So I just realized, and yeah, I know I'm gonna clip this shit, and I'm gonna clip it to our little chat that we have. That I keep talking, I keep talking to the point that it's like the little boy cried wolf. And oh, when we gonna get up? When we gonna get up? Well, people say, oh, what's up? What's up? And y'all keep coming up with different stuff on the reason why. So, and like my cousin Ron said, they ain't trying to do nothing till somebody die. And that's what it seems like. To one of us die, unfortunately. That's the reality of it is when you keep talking and be like, oh, I'll see you the next time. I mean, they're not. may not be no next time. So that's why I think shorter quarterly things is better than having to wait a year. Imagine if you said, "Oh, I didn't make it this August or this July, but I'm going next year." It's a whole fucking year you gotta wait. Whole year. You gotta wait a whole year to get that feeling when you could have it. You can have different small pieces of it, chunks, quarterly or something like that. Got to change your mindset. No, I'm not going to be the coordinator of that. So people are like, well, you doing all that talking on your show. Won't you organize it? Now I ain't going to be the coordinator, but I'm giving y'all ideas. I'm putting the shit out there. I'm giving y'all something to think about. I'm giving y'all something
Committee,
to think
man.
about.
Because that's what when we first started out. That's how we did it. Whoever was going to be at that destination, they were responsible for everything. So what was set up, or how we do it was, uh, if lodging was going to be needed, go speak to a hotel, get group rates. This is what it's going to cost per room. That's going to include the purchase for a T-shirt, food for these 3 days. Here's the menu for these 3 days. We're going to do this for day. Like, say here, we're going to Made in the Mist one day. We're going to go to Fort Niagara, have the picnic there at Hyde Park. And then Sunday, people might want to go to church services or Niagara on the Lake if people want to drink wine, or if people got their passports, they go to Marineland. So that was the committee thing. That was how we did it here. And then this year they went to Myrtle Beach, so I don't know how they did that. Unfortunately, I didn't get the opportunity to go. I was working, trying to put some money aside to get the home set up. But it is what it is. And I forgot to have a T-shirt on it, so I'm kind of kicking myself in the behind. But hey, all reports was it was a good time, so I missed out.
Yeah. What else? What else? What else about the subject matter? Of course, well, the memories are priceless. They definitely are. They last a lifetime, and there's certain people that just bring the best out of it when you see them. It's just like it's a high that you may be on, and you may be having your, and and you anticipate that, and we always talk about the process that sometimes is always greater than the end, because at the end sometimes it's sad. Like, man, we waited all this time, we got together, we had an amazing 2 3 days, and it ends. Then you may have to go back to your job, back to this. Some people go back to unhappy homes, unhappy situations, and all of that. But the whole process leading up to it was great. So you cherish those memories. But again, like I said, then there's the complex family dynamics that are created sometimes. I'm gonna throw one out there. I'm gonna throw one out there that sometimes women family members like to make things complex for the men in the family. The man may have moved on. Her wait, like, what do you got to say? What do you got to say? I got some shit. I got some. They may have moved on. Yeah, I knew lady. Like, yeah, my family, they funny, whatever. This school them on this. Yeah, I got this aunt who's gonna say this. Don't mind her. My cousin, whatever. He talk a lot of shit, whatever. But I want you to come, whatever. You're gonna have a good time, whatever. You'll get to see, you'll hear stories, you'll get the real inside scoop on who I am and this and that. Sometimes the women in the family say, "Oh, they like to invite your exes. Uh, oh, she been a part of the family. She has a child by you, or whatever the case is, but the child is grown, eh, but they still like extending those invites out. You can't do that shit. You can't do that shit. sometimes you invite people, and it's turmoil, but it's like low key. Like I don't fuck with them, whatever. But I damn sure don't want to spend the whole 2 3 days with them in my circumference. I'd rather not. But women so quick
I've heard
to
about this
freaking do
type of
that,
stuff, man. I've never seen it happen.
so quick to do that, and it's not cool. And they'll say
Wow, yeah, man.
their rationale is, well, they're okay with me. We're cool. They're still family. They've been apart all this time. But no, it's just respect. It's respect. Nobody wants to look up into their faces. So that's the turmoil that sometimes causes friction and stuff like that. Mhm. What else? What else? And we kind of touched on the planning and organization, and like Herb said, committees. You know that that's important to pull it off. To have committees and people be responsible for certain things to make it happen. Certainly, everybody, most people, especially in the younger generation, may still have jobs, so their time might be limited. So that's why people, you have to give certain people certain tasks, and you have to come together weekly and see where that person stands. If that person is slacking up and they didn't do this, then you may have to put someone else on that job, just so everything can come together seamlessly, uh, without any major issues. But again, I'm not. I'll do something, but I'm not the originator or the orchestrator of a planning committee. I'm kind of behind the scenes. Uh, if my sister was listening to it, she'd be like, "It sounds like your ass ain't trying to do shit, but show up." And that may be that may be correct. I'll
Hey,
do stuff. I can make phone calls, and I can put stuff on social media and things of that nature. But yeah, I would be willing to
yeah,
do whatever. But you got to have a strong committee of people willing to do everything, and you can't have nobody who's trying to run everything and kind of turning other people off to say, "Oh, I want to do it because I didn't get a chance to do that," and y'all already talking about replacing me. You got to have a nice balance.
yeah, things like that. Because it's almost like an individual's trying to take over everything, and they don't want input from anybody. It's like, well, damn. If you didn't want input, I'll just say you were going to do everything yourself. So yeah, but man, people get out there. I don't know if I mentioned this stat. I know I said something to David pre-show. 47% reduction in the number of black family reunions. This is since 1997. We're talking 27 years. That is crazy. Just imagine having nieces, nephews, cousins, aunts, and uncles that you know they're there, but you ain't never met them. We gotta do better. There should be no one, and I mean no one, in any of our families who has not met their relative. That includes the fathers of these wayward situationship kids results. They should know. They should know who they are when they see them. Even if they don't have a good report, they still should know it. Why? Because it may serve as a warning to not turn out like them. Think about it. The people who have had good role models as parents and they've never seen them, they have no idea how to emulate that. Now, Let's take the same people, same person who had parents that didn't do anything. That person might turn out to just be the same. He didn't do anything. Well, his parents didn't do anything. He never met his parents, so what do we got? Chances are, if he meets his parents and he see his parents in the situation that they're in, he's probably gonna say, "You know what? I want better. I don't want to live like that. I want to live like this."
It, it's so funny that, and this is different, but I was just sitting here strolling as you was talking because sometimes thoughts pop in my head. But shout out to Tyrone, Julius Hall. I'm seeing your thing on my timeline, and you said, "Hey, you ever sit and thought and ask yourself, if I ever went in a nursing home, who's really going to take the time out and come see me at least 2 times a year for at least 20 minutes? Let that marinate for a minute." You never know. Some people don't get no visitors. Um,
That's true.
some family members, uh, they, once the person starts slipping and going to onslaught of dementia and things of that nature, they just stay away, and it's tough, and it's tough. So you never know. You never know who's going to be there for you or not. I guess that's just a chance that you have to take. So these are things that you have to think about. Shit, you could be in a relationship, and your other partner could be healthy and all that stuff, and they place you in there. Shit, they had stop. They started off coming to see you on a regular basis, and then it came down. It used to be shit every day. Then it started being 4 times, 3 times, maybe twice a week, and you just there. I don't know. I guess I guess it's the way you treat people throughout uh, to determine like who's going to show up or whatever the case is. But we live in a crazy time that if you still if you still got your wits, whatever, some people will come because they'll think like, okay, they might still add me to the wheel or whatever, depending on what that individual got. Uh, if you ain't got a pot to piss in and a window to throw out of, then your ass probably just be in there, just sitting, relying on your CNA to come through, your favorite CNA and nurse. So, uh,
Yeah, yeah. That's what it is. You
I mean,
gotta make it happen. Gotta make it happen. Gotta make it happen. And it, it it doesn't take as much effort as you know we make it out. I mean, start small. You know, if you can only get your nieces, your cousins, to meet in one locale, start there. You know, ouch, oh, shoot. Place a call to your peoples and say, hey, why don't y'all get together this day? We gonna get together this day, and you know what? We can do um, Facebook Live and have people sit around, and we can introduce each other that way. At least you start to build up a familiarity with who your relatives are across the country, northwest, southwest, east. So when you do see each other in person, you say, "Oh yeah, I remember you. We talked on the live stream, yada yada yada." Start somewhere. Don't let the fact that it's difficult stop you. Because once somebody transitions, it's over. And you don't want somebody that you wanted to meet transition without having met them just because they might be too far away or I don't want to travel there or don't do that to your family. That's family.
Well,
That's one family we all supposed to have above anything. But you don't want to do it that way.
one of the things that happens often too is if it's a relationship where the father been kind of in and out the kid's life, and the kids being predominantly closer to the mother's side of the family, so they know all of those cousins, and that's all they know. And then the father's side, you got a whole another side of cousins and family. That's your cousin and that's your people, but you really don't know them like that. Yeah, you know your mother's side of the family, the cousins, but you don't know the other side. And that those are the situations, like I said in the promo, that times you don't know. But then you find people could be dealing with their first cousins or whatever the case is, because it's a whole nother side that you never know. Then you get to talking and you come over and the mother say, "What's his name?" Because he looked familiar.
Yep.
And they say, "That's Herbert." I'm throwing you in there. That's Herbert.
Yeah.
That's Herbert Lewis. She was like, "You like Lewis?" And she was, yeah, she was like, "Well, yeah, I hate to tell y'all. Shit, y'all related. Shit, y'all related. Y'all first cousins." And you sitting there like, what?
What? And
But
for
you may
people that
not
let
know.
me jump in here for a second. For people who think he's exaggerating, I want you to look up Terrell Owens. Happened to him. And he never lived it down. It's real.
And you know what? You got to Scooby or that situation where I never even followed up
Oh,
on.
same thing you talking about his first cousin. He's like, yeah, he's talking to his first cousin, and they were dating. Nothing happened, but somebody pulled him aside and said, "Hey, look, you can't date her, man. That's your sister." Fucked him up. Fucked him up. So that's another reason why you want to have family reunions. You don't want to be out here potentially in an incestuous relationship due to your own ignorance. Nobody never told you. Your mother got kids here, your pop got kids here, and shit. Especially with the way the world functioning now, where people moving back and forth for employment, college, and man, you do not want to be the one. Child
So,
come out with Down syndrome.
that was what I was about to say. Like, so how true is that? That because that I don't know. People used to always feel like if it was a myth or whatever, but I often wonder like when you entangle different blood relatives, whatever, is that true that it could be some dysfunctions with the child because of the DNA?
I want people, and that's an excellent question, people. David. I want people to look up how the royal family almost wiped themselves out by marrying into I can't remember what the term is, but they were marrying within the family. Damn, they destroyed them because they wanted to keep the bloodlines quote unquote pure. Notice they don't do that nonsense anymore. Princess Di was not a member of the royal family. Neither was the one that married Prince Harry. They were outsiders. They learned. Can't be doing that. You got to bring in new blood. male or female. This is why they are vetted. But the vetting process didn't work so well for King Harry. He gave up being a potential king. I think his younger brother, shoot, can't
They still
remember.
together.
Yeah, oh yeah,
I haven't
I do
seen them in
believe.
years.
Yep, I can't remember his wife's name. Darn it, darn it, darn it, darn it. I don't know how I can't remember her name, but oh, yeah, his father disowned him.
Crazy.
And he said, "You marry that chick, yeah, out of here." Apparently, he was open.
He's like that
Meghan Markle.
sometimes. I haven't seen them.
He said, "I give up the crown for them guts." He said, "That got me out, baby." He picked up the phone. He said, "Let me get the royal suite. Hey, let me speak to you. Let me speak to Dad. Dad, I ain't never coming home. I'm gonna just own the crown. Have a good life."
Oh,
Gave up his, gave up the potential to be king. King, okay, not president, not prime minister, but king.
yes, he said he got his bread. He got money.
Ooh, that's a Winnie the Pooh I don't want to ever see. Make you leave a kingdom. A kingdom. We ain't talking about a home, couple hundred million. We talking about a kingdom, lands. As far as the eye can see, prestige.
Some people lose out on less than that. Shit, they lose it all. It ain't even nowhere equivalent to that. But I think the moral of it all is that, especially during these times, that there's more family, and the more good times people come together, the more you have to look forward to. So that's why I was saying that that whole year process is too long, and it has to be quarterly, or sometimes throw in some other short versions. Uh, and it might not be the whole people, but people might just put it out there like, hey, this is what we got going on. A few of us we're meeting here. Anybody interested in coming? We're planning on this, and it could be something small, and you just do it because again, that seems so daunting to wait a whole year. I mean, the whole year just went through your life, and you waited to get to that point, and and it goes by. Then once you're together, that shit fly by so fast, and then sometimes that's the one thing people are looking forward to uh, during that time. So you really gonna wait a whole year to have to feel that feeling, that vibe, instead of trying to come closer as many times as possible. Crazy, crazy, but that sometimes that's what happens. Not go. I'm not going to belabor the point.
No need to.
Got to go in the schoolhouse tomorrow and put in some work. And and again, once y'all don't know, y'all do realize that summer is halfway over with, and
Yes,
it's
indeed.
time that we already got school shit out. They had that out shit probably the first week of July, but that's all about. That's just hustling and psychology, trying to get parents all worked up and all that stuff to start spending money. Uh, but damn, time you leave there, shit, 3 or 4 weeks later, there it's already time to get back in that mode to start thinking. Uh, that grind, that whole grind. So, and see, that's what I'm talking about. Like you could say, oh, in the summer we're gonna get up, but then the summer flies by so fast, and you're anticipating for that time to come, and it goes by so fast. Then you, shit, what? Got to wait a whole another year goes by. You got to have smaller things, smaller gatherings. Okay. I was well, I didn't really I started to wear my family reunion shirt from last year, South Carolina. Good memorabilia to have them. So, Herb, any closing comments? Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
Get it done, people. Let's change that 47%. That number needs to drop down by half in the next 5 years. We need to know who we are. You need to know who your family is. Don't be walking around here talking about, well, I don't have any help. Nobody wants to do this. Nobody wants to do that. Make them. Make them.
Well, you know what happens when you do get together. Then you have one of your male cousins. Then you have the female cousin. They like, what's that? Your cousin? Oh, that's my cousin. Your cousin? Damn, I ain't never seen her before. You wouldn't seen her because we just brought them, included them into everything, whatever. And you have people bit up. God damn, why she gotta be my cousin? She ain't looking at your ass anyway. But that's the reality of it. My closing comment is again, like I've been saying all along. I mean, you can you can wait for the big shebang for the year, and then some people, unfortunately, wait, but they may not. As you get older, you may not make spin the block and get to that point, or you can have smaller things, and little things end up being to big things because if the little things that people have fun and you got pictures and people posting and they like, yo, we had a great time. Of course, the next one, more people are going to say, hey, man, I'm coming to that next one. Where the next one at? So then you might end up having
Right.
like 3 or 4 family reunions a year instead of that one big one that some people don't make it around. They're not gonna make it around the universe when you get a certain age, and anything can happen. Unfortunately, look at like I
Yeah.
said, my childhood friend, but sister, but it's like a sister, lost her son. Wasn't expecting that. That wasn't supposed to happen. And I'm sorry, people. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just can't feed into, and y'all can say, or you can call me whatever you want to, but I can't feed into that notion of God needed them there, um, needed him there more than
We needed them here. Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
cuss. I would cuss your ass. I'm telling you right now, I would cuss somebody ass out. You say that to me during a time of grieving, uh, after losing your child, significant other. God, God needed them more. Needed them more than Man, you talk about to have another funeral service because about to smack the shit out of you barehanded to their
Yeah,
like,
there's self-fulfilling prophecies, man. And
yeah,
people,
yeah. That's some more ignorant shit to
yeah,
me, man.
I agree. There's certain things that, I don't want to hear. Just say that,
Yeah.
say that.
So,
Because
some
I bumped into one of
things,
my old neighbors, and the guy I've known since I was a kid, he had passed. And when I saw it, I was like, oh wow. Apparently he died of lung cancer. So, because he said it's tough, and that's why. We talk about, and you see it often. Family can't. Family. It's not that family can't. Family don't want to put together the money to bury somebody because they don't know them. They never met them. So here these people are doing the GoFundMe, and this person got 75, 80 relatives that if they put together $20 a piece, they can bury this person with some dignity. No, they don't do it. Don't do it. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and when we talk about traditions and all of that stuff and things that is said, some of them things y'all need to remove from your thought process. And again, I brought this up before in Counseling 101. They were saying that don't say to people, sorry for your loss.
Yeah.
Like, don't say that. When I was learning, I was like, okay. What's interesting is like because some people are happy that that person died. What if it's a girl and her father died, but he was molesting her or sexually abusing her all years and years? You think she gonna be uh, feeling sorry? She may be feeling joy, like thank God that evil motherfucker's gone.
Yep.
So those are words you shouldn't say. Sorry for your loss, because that could be insensitive or kind of miscalculated. So again, the same thing with, oh, God needed him more than you, or you can't say that shit. I don't care how you spin it or whatever the case is. And then I just posted again when people say one of y'all things that y'all think is cool, when y'all say, pray for me, but don't ask any questions. Huh?
Yeah.
Fuck, I'm gonna pray for you for it. I don't know what the hell. When praying is intimate, shake it. So you got to have some details to make it legit or genuine. You just don't have a a universal thing that you say, but the person like like JC Rice said, no, I ain't praying for somebody who said, oh man, I'm hoping my parlay hit or whatever the case is. Pray for me, whatever. Yeah, like y'all just fall into any damn thing that people tell you. I'm like, yeah, what? But don't ask no questions. That right there, to me, would be suspect. But y'all go ahead and do what y'all want to do and carry on what y'all shit. But y'all gotta understand, I'm not responding. I'm just gonna probably look like,
That's wild as hell, man.
nah. Some of the things that we come up with that we don't let go and you internalize as you get older and you don't stop to think like that made absolutely no sense at all, but you keep on going with it. But
Well,
again,
turning.
somebody sometimes if some health condition and somebody end up in and they've been suffering through pain, but like car accidents and things of that nature, or somebody getting shot, or something that that person probably should have lived. I think it's insensitive to say God needed him or her more than you did. Interesting. Let that marinate on y'all for the ones who think that, but I can't subscribe to that. Not somebody that I love. It means the world to me that I can't subscribe to that because somebody would come back with a smart comment and say, "Well, damn, how many goddamn people does he need?" That was my only child. That was only my only sister or brother. I need them. The spookism that people believe in. But all right, good people, we out, whatever. I'm gonna let y'all marinate. I'm gonna let AI chop this shit up in there. Yeah, here we go from there. But just think about some of the things that we say.
All right, peoples. Like I said, make sure y'all start your work. We want to hear about your reunions coming up.
All right,
Peace.
we out. On to the next one. See y'all next time. Peace.